Clamps aren't doing anything. Well, it's a good time as any to start talking about this. I guess this is an update from the last time I ever made a video on it, which was, what, like 3 years ago? Well, runs better than it ever has. I came home sometime in, actually, almost exactly a year ago. September last year. Graduated and got a job. I put minimal amount of work into this. I know before I graduated, about a year before then, I swapped out an ignition coil. It stopped firing on that side, I think, because it wouldn't run on one. It would only run on this cylinder. Wouldn't run on this one if I pulled that plug, which means there's a power balance issue with this engine, but we'll come to that later. New battery was replaced last year. It just would not hold a charge, so it was time for a new one. The other one was like 6 years old, or a little bit more. There's a new carburetor on it. New. The brand new ones are like 200 and something bucks, so that wasn't an option for me. But I had to get a different one because the mixture screw is stripped out on the original one. Bought that and got a rebuild kit for it. I super cleaned it, and now this thing runs better than it ever has. I imagine if I do new spark plugs on it, it might run even better. I don't know. These spark plugs have been in here for a long time, but they haven't been run very long. Not by my standards anyway. There's your new carburetor off of a newer Briggs & Stratton. It's not adjustable. That's a fixed jet, but it doesn't really need to be adjusted. My issue with it today is I'm finally replacing this intake manifold for that reason. This isn't even holding. Throttle cable will not stay tight enough to where I can actually keep this adjusted properly. My JB Weld job isn't working anymore, so it's time to let this go. I didn't get to plow with it this past year because the snow didn't get bad enough for me to move it out front. So, which isn't a problem for me. I really didn't want to have to use it. It's not been a good year for me for reasons. Easier if I unhook this harness. It just came unhooked on its own. Okay. Anything else I can kind of just leave here. In all honesty, I should have grabbed the wrench. I'll probably leave most of this hooked up. Okay. Haven't even been able to use this thing to cut grass. This yard's gotten so small from having some kids live with us. We have all this junk in the yard. I'm thinking of more things to say about this, but I don't really have much. Needs a seal on the governor shaft. I've had this thing washed down so many times, leaking oil out of that. It looks like it's leaking out of the PCV area too. To my knowledge, the sump gasket's okay, but I don't know. Oh, I also got new wheel. I got wheel weights for this too. I figured Sears probably isn't going to be around for much longer. They're pretty much gone by now. So get the parts while I still can. Yeah, let me get a smaller wrench for these two. Cool. Teaser. I haven't made a video of this thing yet. I'm sitting on some footage, and I'm gonna do some more work to this before I debut it. And it's kind of a mess right now, if you can't already tell. Yes, I still have that one. We still got this one. Still got that one. This one's gone though. 97 Taurus has been scrapped. Unibody started to rot out under the back doors, and it wasn't really anything that I was capable of repairing, so I decided it was time for it to go. We ended up getting a 2001 Taurus to replace it with a much lesser amount of miles. It was 51,000 miles, so you can't really argue with that. Maybe I'll do a video of that one too. Anyway, back on this. Alright, good, that's off. All that's left is the manifold that I tightened back up to get those bolts off. I can talk about some of the other stuff, I suppose. How much more talking do you really want me to do, though? Well, let's see. The Honda mower's over there at Craftsman with the Honda on it. I have a list of parts that I want to get for that, but I'm not sure if I want to spend money on it right now. Still runs great. I had to drain and refill the carburetor again. Always something that gets stuck in it. Okay. might have to change out a fuel filter on that too. I have it double filtered. There's a screen on the bottom of the gas tank, and then there's a inline filter I put in as well because it wasn't doing its job. Okay, and I took the gaskets off with it, which is fine by me because that one's got gaskets on it. And they're the exact same size. Perfect. Took a little while for me to even find this. Just decided to search it up one day, and there it was on eBay. I think I have a carburetor gasket in that rebuild kit. I don't remember. If this one breaks, I'll just get the new one. Or I'll just, yeah. Yeah, it broke. Alright. See, the rebuild kit's got a new one. That was the fuel pump parts. I rebuilt the fuel pump on this too. I didn't have to, but I decided to anyway. Let's see. Have the upper gasket, all these middle ones. Nope. Oh, wait a minute. There's a lot of junk that I didn't need with this. All I really did was rebuild the fuel pump mostly. Haha. Alright. Alright, I win. And these gaskets are still intact, so I'm going to keep them. That spark plug's leaking for no reason. I need to rebuild this engine. I'm just really slacking on it. Hang on. Mini bike's uncovered. I want to try to fix the paint on that and make the engine look nicer since I left it out in the sun forever. Chain's kind of rusty, I imagine, by now. And I want to redo the brake system on it too. It doesn't stop the way it's supposed to. That's my only problems with that. I haven't even ridden this thing since before I got home. I don't remember the last time I rode it actually. It was probably like 2 years ago. I had to readjust the governor for this thing as well when I put this carburetor on. It wasn't idling low enough for me. Thanks for reminding me. These don't have to be on super tight, threading into aluminum. Gasket will do everything else. Awesome. Oh yeah, I can finally run this without the choke all the way on, or without the choke on now. Another victory with this carburetor. Alright. Charging circuit. And kill wire. How about that, huh? don't remember the last time I've ever been able to get it to start up effortlessly, back the throttle, or back the choke all the way off, running up the throttle, or running up full throttle without choking it, run it down without adjusting the choke. It does it all. It idles properly, it runs great. I mean, yeah, it stumbles a bit when you first do it, but it's just the way the carburetor is, I think. But I've never been able to get it to do all that. This thing's finally running the way I wanted it to run. Do a couple more things to it and I'll consider it a finished project. Might redo the paint at some point. Didn't quite come out the way I wanted it to. Guess that's it. Mission accomplished. With this camera I got, it's a iView Rincon. I can do POV stuff, so I can make my videos a little bit more interesting. Take you along with whatever work I do instead of just cutting it and then talking some more, cutting it, more progress, talk some more. I can actually do stuff. So, I guess until next time, thanks for watching. See you again soon.